So our app's coming along, isn't it? We've got the ability to record sound, we can see the sound as it's recording, we can play it back, and we can save it to a file. So now let's add some user experience to allow our user to see the list of recorded sounds and play the one that they want. So take a look at the solution again. We've now added one more image here, the folder icon. Now we have 3 buttons in our application bar, the record stop button, the play pause button, and now a folder button to take us to the list. We've also added essentially a data-bound page, just as we did with the first Sonnets app. So we have view model, a main view model, and an item view model. And if we take a look, the main view model simply has individual names of files in it. And the way we populate that view model is by going to the file system and getting a list of all the file names and then searching for the .info files. Remember, from the last thing that we built, we saved the name of the file and the date of the file in a .info metadata file so that we could do just exactly this. So we search through, we find a name that ends with .info, we open it up, we read it, we split it into 2 parts using the split functionality. One part's the file name, the other part's the date, and we add a recording info object that is the thing we add into our item view model. Our recording info object here is very simple. It's just 2 string properties, a file name and a display string. And our item view model simply has 2 properties, display string and file name. And then, of course, we added a recordings XAML file, which has a list box that shows the items, which is the file name and the display string. Finally, take a look at the code for this. What this does is we keep track of which item is being selected so that when we want to play it back, we can load the sound in and play it. We've got some instance variables here, so A, we can figure out which one is the last selected item for playback. We have a brush because we actually set the highlight on the selected item because we want that to be persistent so that the user can see which sound they're playing back. Of course, we have an instance of our item view model so we can extract the recording info object out of that. We have an instance of the microphone, and the reason that we get that has to do with being able to look at some of the buffer sizes and things, not because we're actually doing any recording in this file. Got the buffer that's going to hold the sound, the memory stream we're going to play it back from, the sound effects instance we're going to play it with, and we have the same kind of logic in here that we used in the main page in order to be able to determine play and pause and switch the state of the application button for play and pause. So we need to know when it's actually started, and more specifically, we need to know when it stops so we can switch it back to play. So here we go ahead and load up our view model and set up another dispatcher and go through the same logic we did before about detecting playback started, switching the button from play to pause and pause to play. On page loaded, we deselect everything in our list box because we can go back and forth here pretty easily. And then when somebody actually taps one of the items in our list, we go and get the list box item from the list box so that we can actually set the background for it. So what we do is we go get the list box item and keep track of what the background was, because we're going to set the background to the theme color, and when we're done, we want to turn it back. So then we go get our selected item, make sure we know which one it is, and we go get our container from the item, and we get the current accent color, which the user has chosen in settings, and we set that list box that the user selected to that background color. And that's all we do. We just keep track of which one it was, so that now in the play handler here, we use the selected item. Set it to play. We do the same kind of logic for play and pause that we did on the main page, but when we're actually playing here, we go and get the information about which file to load from the last selected item's file name. Otherwise, the rest of this is the same. We create a memory stream, put the data in the buffer, and tell it to play. And that's it for this particular revision of the app, so let's go take a look at this in action. First, we'll make a recording. Recording 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We go look, there's our recording. We can click here and play it back. Recording 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if we look over here in the debug output, you can see that we've retrieved that info file and dumped out its data so that we know which one we're actually doing. And we've also detected the selection so that we know which file we have to play back. Let's go make a second recording. This is recording 2, A, B, C, D, E. If we come over here, now we have recording number 2. This is recording 2, A, B, C, D, E. Or recording number 1. Recording 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, now this is great, and it has everything we need except for two things. One is the ability to delete a recording, and the other is to be able to record when the user screen is locked. So that's coming up.